Working on a Simplex steam locomotive, part 21. Disassembly begins by dismantling the moving parts for refurbishment. I find many mechanical problems with this engine. I will visit these problems when the parts are removed and cleaned thoroughly. The main thing is to reduce the engine to a kit of parts and repair where necessary. I need to dismantle the chassis for 2 or 3 reasons. One is it's filthy, the centre crank pin is very loose in the wheel, the bushes are worn, and the wheels need some cosmetic attention. The first thing to do is to release the link from the return crank, and as you can see, the centre crank pin is moving quite a lot. The position of this return crank sets the timing for the engine, so a little bit of movement isn't a massive problem, but there shouldn't be any movement at all. Quite a lot of parts on the centre wheel need removing to free the connecting rod, and the connecting rod is held to the crank pins on the other wheels using different methods. To remove this large nut, it's a good idea to lock the wheel. I'm using a big screwdriver, but not from the top as shown in the previous clip. I've fitted it between the spokes from underneath. That way I can rotate the spanner as shown all the way around, and of course it's better for the video. The nut is still a bit tight, which is a good thing. Just a final turn of the spanner and it's loose. From the rear of the engine to the front of the engine. And because the coupling rod is very close to the crosshead guide, it's secured to the crank pin using an Allen head bolt. Be very careful when using Allen keys with the ball ends. Use the short end to slacken off the bolt, and then you can use the ball end to remove the part. Warning, if you put too much pressure on the ball end of these Allen keys, the ball can break off in the head of the bolt, which is not a problem if it's a cap head bolt, but it is if it's a countersunk one, or even worse if it was a grub screw, down inside an eccentric sheave for instance. In this clip, I've just removed the nut from the pin that holds the small end into the crosshead, and by small end I mean the small end of the connecting rod. Normally you would remove the nut and just tap out the pin, but not so in this case. The front of the crosshead is a shaped plate that's secured to the crosshead itself using no less than 6 10BA hexagon bolts. It took me a while to find the correct size socket, but I got there in the end. As the bolts were very tight into the crosshead, I loosened them initially with this spanner. This is one of a very cheap set of laser cut spanners that I bought from Blackgates Engineering. With all the bolts undone and the crosshead pin out, it should be easy to remove the coupling rods and the connecting rod, or at least it will be when I've removed the return crank. I'm slackening off the nut, which is a lock nut for the pinch bolt, which is really what you use to initially clamp the return crank to the crank pin to set the valve timing. Then you cross drill the return crank and the crank pin and fit a taper pin in there. I'm removing this initially by tapping it through with a centre punch and now with the pair of pliers. And after doing that, I can now remove the return crank quite easily. And now I should be able to first of all remove the connecting rod, followed by removing the coupling rods. Once I've removed the wheels and the parts, I'm going to put them first of all in my Clark parts washer that I bought ages ago. I featured this when I dismantled the Hogwarts Castle project. But that was nowhere near as dirty as this one. Look at the state of it under the front. In this clip I'm using my Barco spanner and my trusty fairly smooth-jawed pair of pliers to initially straighten this part which was very badly bent. Once I turned the locomotive over to remove the rods from the other side, this is how I fixed the bent link. The pliers and spanner method was okay, but this is much better. For the rod removal I'm going to speed up the process. Here I'm knocking the pin out of the return crank, and then in exactly the same way as you've just seen when I did the other side, I removed the taper pin with a pair of pliers. This crank pin seems to be okay, it's not loose at all, so that's one job less to do. The bronze bush in the coupling rod seems to be a bit slack, but that's usually a simple fix. In this clip I'm removing the large nut from the crank pin on the rear wheel, and once I remove the washer, you can see that this is really badly worn. It's extremely oval, and this is a bit of a worry. Could it be by prolonged normal wear, or could it be because the wheels are not quartered correctly? I will find out when I come to put it back together. Moving on to the front wheel, I'm removing the countersunk Allen bolt, and now I'm getting really concerned because the washer's not in the centre. Look at this. Now before I go any further, you do need a little bit of play on coupling rods on a steam locomotive. This is not my opinion, it's based on fact. If everything is machined to a high tolerance, it will probably not go around corners, and because each wheel has its own suspension, that won't work either if the machining tolerance is too tight. In this clip I'm removing the horn keeps. These are the parts that hold the axle boxes in position in the horn blocks. Without these, if you lifted the engine up, the wheels and axles would do their very best to fall out of the frames. I'm not going to touch the suspension at all because that's obviously worked for some years. In this image I notice some damage, which is only slight, to the edge of the flange of one of the wheels. This doesn't initially seem to be much of an issue and it should be okay. In this clip I'm removing the union nut that holds the water inlet onto the axle driven pump. And when I remove the nut, guess what? The axle does not clear the water pump. Also, the axle is not going to really clear the brake gear, so I'll dismantle that now. This engine originally came into my workshop as a job for a customer, and here, as I'm using a small drift to tap out a bolt that doesn't want to leave the brake gear, I do now realise with the initial quote that I gave him how far out of pocket I would have been. This renovation is taking a long time. After completely unbolting the axle-driven pump, finally I can remove the centre wheel set. In the end I bought this engine off the owner because it was just impractical to repair it. From my point of view it will make a good video series, and there is still an awful long way to go. To prevent damage to the valve gear linkages, I've held them in place using cable ties. And daft as it sounds, here is a health and safety warning. When cutting the ends of cable ties, use special cutters with a flat edge. Do not use ordinary side cutters, otherwise the cable tie ends become very sharp. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.